Perspectives is one of the very silly things I do when I'm not on air. I like to dance, I like to feel cool. But you know, as soon as the camera comes on me, I look very serious like I'm a banker. They call me Swift and Derrita, and this is Post on Perspectives on Sook News TV. Basically, all the show is about is to get your comments and what you say. Your feedback, it means a lot to us. So we like to know what you're talking about and what your take is on the issues that have been delicately dissected by the Fun Bonus team. Let's jump right into it. So Niger Seeks Help as fuel hits 8,000 naira per litre. So the first commentator is I am DI. Hi, D1. And you say, so after all the tough talk, they can come back. Fuel scarcity will really humble a nation. 1 minute is we don't need Nigeria. The next minute is I beg, just small PMS. Nice one. And the next one is Amala tourist. I think we need to hang out. I love Amala. And you say the same Niger Republic that closed their airspace on Nigerian airlines and became hostile to Nigeria. And you say small, don't shake. Finish. All right. So the next person is Usman, and Usman says, forget about our diplomatic differences and embrace them as brothers. We are originally one, and we should be. Of course, talking about this and the seeking for help. Doctor, I need to talk about this because it makes me proud, and I know you are a proud Nigerian. How did you feel when you heard that the big boys from Republic of Niger came to us to Bebe for fuel? They were prostrating and begging, yes.
Well, I don't see them. We are big brother any day, any time. Blessing reminded me a while ago of the proverb I said some time back.
Yes.
That in my village, when a small boy enters into an old bush and finds some tuber of yam, he comes home and says to the parent, let everybody be eating their meal. But you know that can only last for a little while. Now, once the meal is over, then, of course, you have to come back like a prodigal to come and say, well, I don't mind, Daddy, if I can work for you. But I think that said, we are better off together, and I think that is important. And as Africans, we must see how to embrace ourselves.
Yes.
Whatever the juntas are doing is to seek legitimacy for another otherwise illegitimate act of overthrowing a constituted government in their environment. And I think they should hasten up the process of handover power to those who are elected by the people and allow civilians to drive the business of governance, and then the military go to the barracks to safeguard and protect the nation against external aggressor or internal insurrection. That's the function of the military. They are not wired to govern. I think that is what it is. All the noise is all make to see how to generate legitimacy from their space. And now that the chicks have come to roost, we understand what it is, that beyond the shakara now, as they say, there is the reality to get fuel into the tanks of the commuting Nigerians. And I think they have to eat their humble pie.
Talking about eating the humble pie. The next one we're talking about that was analyzed is FG to penalize owners of unoccupied building. This one, a lot of people will swallow saliva on this. And the first person has to be fundamentalist, and this one is coming banging. You say, that's a good one. At least someone in Ikoyi will have to beg and pay me to come and live in their houses, really. The next person says, is Andrew. He says, I think this will be a sensible policy, and vacant units I waste and cause real economic externalities. And of course, somebody says, this Ogungbemi, how you doing? Welcome. You say, I support this move. These are the kind of policies that government need to generate revenue from super rich. They have vacant houses all over the country. If they are forced to pay tax on them, they will give the houses at a reduced cost. Talking about housing, I remember some weeks ago, Blessing, you were very passionate about it, especially when people were angry that some certain sites in Lekki, the rent is skyrocketing and it's too expensive to some other places that, sugar mommy is a sugar over. What's your take on this?
Well, I really wish that the ground rent would be enough deterrent or would be enough disincentive for those who hoard apartments, those who built houses, who are holding it to begin to rent them out or even lease them. Because when you have taken up the spaces, you bought the land, so the land is not really available in those areas. You built the house, yet in that same environment, people are looking for houses to rent, either for residential or commercial purposes. So you need to also give it out. Why are they holding on to it? Yes, there may be reasons, as you wanting someone who will pay commensurable rent. But there could also be other reasons. People did not even have the intention of commercializing those buildings. They just used them to save space and are keeping them for generations unborn, whereas the ones who are born now do not have a space to live in. So I think what the Ministry of Land, Urban Housing and Urban Development is doing is good if they can find a good way to handle it, which they say they're consulting with legal experts to find the best approach to handle this so that they're not infringing on property rights.
Yes, talking about property rights, I know people in Lekki Phase 1 especially will be excited. In fact, there's a street I know that over 20 houses are owned by one person, and it's only security men from the north who live there. That's a challenge. I know
those houses are not having dollars and some other monies kept in there. We've seen cases where that happened.
If they rent to us and we find dollars, All right, so the next thing we're touching on is U.S. plans visa ban on 41 countries. And guess what? My country was not mentioned. Of course, the first person has to be Kanu, and Kanu says he actually has less of African countries on this list, surprisingly. Countries that carry out coups are less and high-risk countries among, but Nigeria is missing. I think U.S. got an interest in Nigeria. Oh, so you think we bribed our way out of this? Okay. And the next person is Peter, and Peter says, you rushed to check for Nigeria. For your information, Nigeria is like a stubborn child in the class that is loved by everyone, true? I say you can only complain about them, but they can't write them off because they spice up things. At this junction, I need to get Doctor on board. Doctor, I know you are an advocate for Nigeria, and one thing we know about Nigeria is CNN had carried out a report and said that in America, 60% of Nigerians are the most educated from all the blacks they have from their workforce. And somebody is saying we are not on the list. I think we shouldn't be on the list. What's your take?
Well, I had joked with Blessing earlier on the show that you don't fight your in-law. So Donald Trump is our in-law, so he cannot include us on that list. At least he has to be a good in-law. We need to get some, he has to pay some more homage to us as in-law. You know, we married the daughter, so if you want us to be able to take care of that girl very well, he has to make provisions for us. And I think that is important. But that said, I think that we are not liability anywhere we are.
Yes.
The truth of the matter is even be said today that if you go to a country and you don't find Nigeria, then it must be a ghost city. And that is what it is, because Nigeria makes things happen. If you go to Asia, you go to Europe, you go to the Americas, you will see that there is no place you will see success and you will not see the hand of Nigeria in it. And that is who we have become, because God has endowed us both with intellect to be able to add to other people. And we are not as in danger as we have been portrayed by some elements. So I'm not surprised that we are not on the list. Because we have been able to also be putting some things in place to ensure that those who are coming out of this place are really not unnecessarily radicalized.
Yes.
And if you look at the list of the people that are banned, and of course, which means that Donald Trump is actually very interested in the safety and security of the people who live in America, and so he's worried about people who are coming from countries that are destabilized, countries that, of course, in international relations, they call rogue states. And these are nations that are watched out so that they don't bring unnecessary radicalization to worsen the security situation in America.
All right. Thank you so much, Doctor. Guess what, guys? This is all we can take. Keep following us on all our social media platforms at Sook and TV. Of course, the same spelling, Sook News TV. My name remains Swift Aderito, but I'm not leaving you. I'm about to hand you over to the man who knows everything about sports. And if you need to find out who beat who and who had a 3-1 win yesterday, you should definitely stay with the one and only Senator Chooks. See you in a bit.